Okay guys, so we are mobile again. I'm back at my buddy Pete's garage. It is 3:44 in the afternoon, and I have till about 10 after 5, so maybe an hour and 25 minutes total, and I have 3 cars to work on, and I don't think it's going to happen. So, just a little intro. Truthfully, just to be upfront with you guys, I don't even feel like doing this today, but I'm going to film it anyway, and we'll see how it goes using the old helmet cam again. And just a preliminary that I know that I'm going to be looking at. One of the vehicles is a lean condition. We suspect a vacuum leak. Another one is a no start from a couple of blown fuses, and after the fuses were replaced, it still doesn't start. And then yet another one is an intermittent no start that is losing spark. So that's what I know going into it. I'm not sure I'll have all of those vehicles in this video. Again, we're going to kind of play this by ear, and you know, I think it's good to watch what I'm doing. So I'm just going to keep you guys live. Let's go in and talk to Pete.
You're all ready to go. Recorded and ready. What are you off till April?
Yeah.
So you have no classes right
No
now?
classes till April, yeah, for me. So, still got
Can't look at too much.
What do you mean? The internet stuff?
I get a customer of mine on I don't know if you want to look at it. Don't go into 4-wheel drive. It's a little Suzuki Vitara.
What year?
It's electrical.
What year is that?
I just did an alternator on this.
Oh no, we could probably do that. I have info on
Next
that.
week?
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we'll pick.
He's a good customer of mine.
Yeah, we'll
and
pick.
then also the alternator.
Just
was
make
active.
sure.
I just changed the alternator, but I don't know if it's charging all the way.
Okay. Just make sure I got it. You know, I'm gonna need to be on the rack for that. 4-wheel drive. Is this the lean? This has a lean code?
Lean code.
What is this?
The Chevy Prism.
Okay. Do you think we could turn the radio off while I'm doing this?
No,
Then?
turn everything.
Is that cool? Is anybody else here? Just me and you?
Me and you,
Perfect.
I'll lock the fucking door.
So the timing's perfect. All right, I'm gonna go get some of my stuff. What is this thing? Chevy what?
Chevy Prism.
Chevy Prism. So it's a Toyota engine. You said you looked at this before?
I checked the code. That's all 171.
Okay. We didn't go any further with it. Nothing else was.
No, I tried.
Nothing else was done as far as we know to this car. Okay. Fuel system 2 lean, bank 1. Fuel system 2 lean, bank 1. All right. So the first thing that I like to do, we got a little fog on my screen here. You have a rag or something, Pete? I can wipe this screen off. All right. So let's make sure we're getting you guys in the shot. First thing I like to do, and you guys know this from in the past, I want to look at what parameters this code set. And what I need to do for this is I need to go to my generic functions, and that's where my freeze frame data is on this car. And what I want to know, it's a lean code. I want to know if it's low RPM, high RPM, is it light throttle angle, heavy throttle angle. And it's 2400 RPM. Engine was 170 degrees roughly. Calculated load is 70%. So right from the get-go on this vehicle, I'm not thinking it's a vacuum leak. And the reason I'm saying that would be the 70% load and 2500 RPM. Long-term trim is 40%, short-term is -1. So a long-term trim of 40% on this car. It's an under-load lean condition. My suspicions on this vehicle are going to be dirty mass airflow. Let's prove it. There's a few ways we can do that before we go under the hood. One of them is going to be to look at our data now. This engine is cold. Is it okay if I run this in here, Pete? All right, so I just started this thing, and You know, while I'm thinking about this, before I forget, I had one of you guys had mentioned to me you found a vacuum leak on a vehicle that had lean conditions in the higher RPM ranges, and for sure that can throw you off. If the vacuum leak is severe enough, you can have under load lean conditions still, but it will be very, very lean at idle. So those, I think, would be maybe the separating point. So let me restate that. Can we have vacuum leaks that cause lean conditions under more of a load? So like what we had on our freeze frame. And I think the answer is yes. But I think the key with that would be, it would be even more lean at idle. You know, I mean, there's variables with everything. But again, I use these as guides. It's just a guide. Right now, see, am I in closed loop yet? Where's my upstream O2? It's at 0. Now I feel some hesitations with this. Almost feels like a misfire. Waiting for my short term to start correcting, which will give me my indication that I'm in closed loop. There we go. It just started right there. And let's see what this O2 does. So watching this guy here and this guy here, and then we're looking at the long term. You know what? I'll make this a little easier for us here. Let's customize this. Long term right now is 30%. Short term has really, what we're looking at here is it's been compensated for, this lean condition. You know, you can see our O2 going rich and lean. This is a downstream. We don't really even need to worry about this guy for what we're doing right now. I'm going to hold the RPM up. We're going to watch these at different RPM ranges. Guess I could throw RPM in here for you guys. Long term, short term, O2. There's my O2. Here's short term. Here's long term. Engine speed. We'll look at those four. So what I really want to know, is it getting worse at a higher RPM, or is it getting better? There's 3,000 RPM. Long term's coming down drastically. Fourteen 14%, 10%. Let's let this idle again. And I felt some kind of misfiring type feeling at idle. Yeah, this looks like a vacuum leak now. It kind of contradicts what our freeze frame data showed. Okay, I'm going to repeat some of that because I'm worried that maybe my camera wasn't in view here. And again, what I'm trying to do is see what type of lean condition that I have. Looking at engine RPM, looking at long term and short term, and looking at my upstream O2. So at idle, I'm around 30% on the long term. And so I'm going to raise my RPM and see if it gets better or worse. You can actually see what I did previously here, that it got better. Look at the trim come down at the higher RPM. So let me show it to you again. This is at 3,000 RPM. And you see my long term's down at 10, 9%. I know, total trim, we're still looking at both of these, but this is really the memory. The memory is really the indicator for me and how this car has been running. And what I know is under a higher RPM, higher load, I mean, I know it's not much of a load in park anyway, but with a higher RPM, my trim numbers got better. Let this come back down to an idle, and it's really bad. So that contradicts what I saw with the freeze frame data. I think the first thing that I'm going to do now after seeing this is I'm going to look for a vacuum leak under the hood. So I'm going to take you under the hood and we'll do that. I'm not sure what else I can show you here. A vacuum leak would also give me the symptoms I have, which is this roughness I'm feeling on occasion, this little sputter I feel on occasion. We are definitely running lean at idle, and it's worse at idle. All right, going under the hood. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let's see if that picks it up. Listen to this thing. It's kind of sputtering. Right there. Right there. All right. Seeing what type of system this is. Mass airflow sensors right here. Mass airflow is right here. So we want to, eyeball the air intake tube. Everything looks intact there. I don't see anything visually. Just looking at lines, there isn't a whole lot on here. Pete, you got a water bottle? I can dump some water on this intake, just as a kind of quick and dirty before I, maybe put a smoke machine on this. It can be anything, man. I don't care. It doesn't have to be a squirt bottle. Well, that'll work. It's a little overkill, but all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just dumping water on these intake runners. Take a listen. Well, it couldn't be that easy now, could it, Pete? I didn't hear anything. If that was an intake gasket, we would have heard that get sucked in right away. Dump it on this throttle body. Nothing. All right, well, I guess we'll smoke test it real quick just to be sure. You know what, before we do that, let's pinch off that brake booster hose. You got a pair of needle nose vice grips? And what we want to look for with that pinched off is come up back here and take a look at our data. Things changed a little bit on the long term, but the short term's up high. So add these two together, we got a pretty bad lean condition still going on right now. So 20 and another 15, still 35%. The engine's a little bit warmer. That would possibly explain this number changing on us. I'm going to shut it off. We're going to do a smoke test on the intake. So I remember doing one of these, Pete, not too long ago that had restricted injectors. It was a Pontiac Vibe. Is the Vibe the same engine as this? Do you know? I remember it being a Toyota setup. See, I don't know for sure, but it was one I did a case study on. I was actually talking about it not too long ago with my class. So I think it would be worth looking at the injectors on this, and also I guess the mass airflow too, although it's not really matching those conditions. Here, can you hook me up to the battery? I think sometimes in days like this when I'm in a hurry, I got a couple cars to do, I'm just kind of rolling along, not really put too much thought into everything. I probably would have even checked the mass airflow already just to get it out of my mind. I mean, it's still on there. So just waiting to see some smoke here, guys. And that throttle is completely shut. I don't know if you heard that when I opened that up. That means that idle air control valve is totally shut right now, which is not allowing the smoke to go in. So that should help. Unless that intake is that sealed. I find that hard to believe. Do you hear that? Want to take that off, Pete? I mean, if that's the case, there is not a leak in this system at all. Let's just make sure this throttle is open enough. I don't think I've ever had an intake that was that tightly sealed. So that completely rules out a vacuum leak. Fuel pressure is something that we would need to check, which is not going to be fun on this one. No Schrader valve. We're spoiled with our domestics. Yeah, there's no way. And I got the throttle open, so that is pressurizing the intake right now. All right, I'm moving in another direction here, Pete. I mean, just to be sure, I've got something goofy going on here. I'm going to put the smoke in the brake booster hose, go in the back side of the intake. Yeah, that's definitely, we definitely got smoke going in the intake. That is one tightly sealed intake. All right, it's not a vacuum leak, Pete. So next easiest step is what I'm thinking about. Is it going to be looking at the mass airflow, just eyeballing it? Again, time is money, right? Sometimes it's easier to look than it is to test. Dude, I dropped both screws on camera. That sucks. All right. Okay, on this design, it's down inside. This looks pretty clean. I mean, it does have some stuff on it, but nothing that's going to create the lean condition we have. Those resistors look pretty clean. I'm going to clean them anyway while I'm here. This is not going to fix it, Pete. I'm just doing this after looking at this. This is not going to fix it.
Right.
So it's fuel pressure, injectors is really where I'm going next.
Yeah, it comes like right back on too, Paul.
Yeah, it's bad. It was bad. All right. What's that? Yeah. So let's see if we get an after shot of how I clean this. Definitely a tough camera angle. Sorry. Best I can do. Let's throw it back in. Start it up one more time and look at our trim numbers, see if we had any improvement. I don't believe that we will. Let's not drop the screws. Right? You're gonna make me work on this one, Pete.
Yep.
What's the history with this? Do we know?
No history, no. Just the code.
Just the light's been on for a while. They've been driving it this way for a while. Was inspection up or something?
Inspection's coming up, yes.
So that was their motivation to be here, was our emissions inspection.
I guess he's a college kid, so
He's probably been driving it this way for a while. where knowing cars and knowing systems helps. Is this car known for restricted injectors? That Pontiac vibe keeps coming in my head. All right, see if we had an improvement. There we go, just went into closed loop. $14 long term, $10 short term, still very, very lean. Let's go a little higher RPM. Now, if we fixed anything, this number would go very negative, the short term, and it's not. See where we are at idle still. This was at 30% before, but the engine was also colder. Total trim though, we're still around 30%. This thing's still running very lean. I hear a kind of putt every now and again. Yeah. We didn't fix anything, which I didn't think, but at least that's off my mind, right? All right, I got to think about where I want to go next. I'm thinking maybe injection. I need an easy test, and time is of essence here. It's 4:30. I have about a half an hour, really. A quick test here to determine fuel volume. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, but I just wanted to show you guys what I'm trying to do. I limited all of my data PIDs to just the upstream O2. And what I want to do is snap it to wide open and see if I can make this go rich. But really tough to tell because this data is so slow. Like, this is something that I would need to take it for a ride. And when I did this initially, man, it was misfiring real bad at idle after I let off, so it was kind of crazy. That almost seemed like I was lean the whole time on that snap. There it is. Listen to it. Man, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let's get the other trim back up here. This O2. I mean, that is a very, very rough idle right now. Yet the O2 is still fluctuating up and down. I'm really worried about these injectors on this Pete. All right, I'm going to stop here and I might take a look at these other cars first before we jump into this fuel rail and see what we can do. All right, back on this beast, we're going to kill two birds with one stone here. And that's going to be, this fuel line is actually pretty easy to get to. And I think I have this fitting, so I'm going to tee a gauge in there. That's going to allow me to check fuel pressure. And then I can do my balance test too. So hopefully this works out a little bit better than my Honda video attempt. Pretty sure I have this adapter. Pete, do you have the spring lock fittings or a spring lock tool for me so I can disconnect this one? I really need a new kit. This kit's probably 10 years old, and a lot of the pieces I need I do not have. That was like a $450 kit when I bought it. It might be more than 10 years ago. Yeah. Whoops. Make sure that's still in the shot. Now we got to be careful with fuel, rest pressure, things like that. So we just need to know that there's fuel, residual fuel in these. And this is not the right fitting here, Pete. I can get half of it in. Well, maybe.
You got it?
You got a rag I can wrap around this, Pete, so I don't get gasoline on my face? No, not particularly. Nope. Can't. Nope. Darn it. Any other style you got, Pete? You know those little plastic ones?
Yeah, but it won't go with that lip, right?
I don't know. I might be able to force it. Nope. Damn. I'm sure they make a tool for this exact fitting. You know? Damn. Maybe this has a different style. Ah, sweet. Okay. We got another fitting I might be able to use here, Pete, on the other side. Let's see if I get the camera on that one. The other end of this fuel line has a different style of fitting that I might be able to work with a little bit better. That's that one right there. And that has a squeeze type. Oh yeah, that's gonna be the ticket right there. And we got fuel. Being careful that I don't spray it everywhere. All right, cool. And I have this fitting. Oh, it's too big. Darn. No. That figures, Pete. I don't have the exact one I need. I'm going to have to rig this up somehow. I have this line teed in. I am going into the rail here using a kind of makeshift piece of line for this part. I have to hold this, and then I have worm clamps on the rest of it. So I should be okay as long as I hold it. We are going to check fuel pressure first. And I don't know a spec on this vehicle, but I don't know, see where we're at. Okay, go ahead and start that, Pete. Stay right there in case I get fuel that sprays everywhere. All right, hold up. I got a leak here, buddy. It feels like deja vu here. I did this video, Pete, like a few months ago, and I didn't upload it until like 2 days ago, and I did all the editing and kind of reliving that video as I was editing it, and it's like everything I'm doing right now, and I'm not having fun again. Well, the difference in that other video is I could never adapt a gauge, but I struggled adapting a fuel pressure gauge on that car for like an hour, and it just...
At least this one went quick. Ready?
No. Hang on. Okay. All right, go ahead.
You on?
Yeah.
On?
Go ahead, start it. Go ahead. this is a returnless system, so it's not going to increase on a snap. That looks great. Now I don't know what our spec is. I'll have to check that. That's about 48 PSI. Nothing wrong with that. All right, kill it. I'm hoping this stays together. How about some electrical tape, Pete, so I don't have to hold this? I mean, this is not ideal, but it would make me feel better having 45 pounds of rest pressure in here, that I got something holding this line together. You know what I mean? Without having to hold it, because I got to do this balance test now. And if this comes off, I'm going to get wet. And it's not going to be fun. Why are you laughing? Huh? Why are you laughing at me, Pete?
You get shy.
Get showered on camera.
He could edit it though.
That's such Mickey Mouse. No, this is good. At least I can do my balance test now. And that's really just going to be, man, I think I have time. Where are we at? 5:04. I have 10 minutes. Like, not even. Okay, so what I'm going to need from you is for you to, can you turn the key on for me? Let me see if I get a prime on this system. Keys on? Crank it, and then shut it back off. All right, kill it. Now that's what I'm going to need you to do each time, okay, Pete? And of course, I don't have the connectors I need for this. I need to adapt this to my gauge. I've done this in another video, guys. I need to stop talking and just kind of work fast here. I'm hoping that this will make for some type of useful video at the end here, but I'm not totally sure. Oh man, I need some T-pins. I don't have any. I'm just going to cut this thing off. It's worthless anymore, this adapter. Alright, so I have a C scribed into this tool for control. This is my control. This is my feed. Actually, it doesn't matter in this case because I'm using directly connected to it. I don't want these touching, so I'm kind of front probing this one, not caring about the connector. All right, I have that rigged up to my number one fuel injector. We'll go on a 50 pulse, and we're holding it about 44 PSI. Can you see, I don't want this to start. Just want to crank it. Well, whatever. You know what? We'll set some codes, but so what? I don't want any spark occurring. Okay. All right, crank that, Pete. All right. All right, so we're at just under 45. Hitting the button. down to 26, 27. Okay, next injector. Remember, 45 to 27. Remember those numbers for me, Pete? No, I'm going to have you crank it again. It doesn't matter. What? It doesn't matter. Crank it again. All right. Need to start with my same starting pressure. There's 45. Yeah. To 20. That was like 28. Well, that wasn't a whole lot different, but it looked a little significant. Going to my next injector. Crank it. All right. $28. Nice that these injectors are actually accessible. Don't want to do that. Crank it. Okay. $28. These are all the same, Pete. Well, as far as balanced with each other, yeah. Crank it. Doing the number one again. Oops. Lost connection. Crank it again. Okay. No, significantly different with this number one. That is a good sign, Pete. That is a good sign. Crank it one more time. All right. There's 45 rest. Down to about 26, just under. And the rest of these, and guys, I'm cranking this each time too, so I'm not in danger of hydrolocking the cylinder. I'm definitely flooding the plugs out, but I don't care right now. Crank it again. Okay. That's 28. That's like it's 2.5, around 2.5 psi difference on this number one compared to the other ones. And the number one is flowing the most fuel, and that kind of makes me feel a lot better about where we are, Pete. Crank it again. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty significant. All right. Next. No, the cylinders 2, 3, and 4 are dropping down to about 28, and cylinder number 1's dropping down actually below 26. So it's about 2.5 psi difference between this one and these three. So that one's flowing more fuel than these three. That would kind of match how lean of a condition we have. Do you know what I mean? It's multiple injectors that are plugged. And I think it would be worth pulling this rail and looking at these screens, these inlet screens on these injectors before you change them. Okay. We can try, and that's why I was thinking about that Pontiac Vibe, and I did not have luck cleaning those. And I don't even have that kit with me anyway.
For wait till tomorrow?
No, I have no way to clean them for you. That kit that I have that cleans them is at the school. So I would say let's pull the rail and let's look at those inlet screens, and if they're clean, we need to put a set of injectors in this. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So what do you want me to do?
Pull the rail, pull the intake, or pull the rail off.
Right here.
I think it's not going to be hard to do. Pull the rail, and then when I come back tomorrow for the other car, well, I can't. I got to go. Yeah, it's 5:13, so we beat it by 2 minutes. Pull that rail and let's look at those screens, Pete. And if those screens are clean, then let's just change them. Okay? But I want to see it. That car's running. Is that the car we're doing tomorrow that's a no start? That's running?
It started, but it'll die. It died because
All right.
I pulled it in.
Can I leave my fuel pressure gauge on here?
Yeah.
Because I want to redo this. If we're going to clean these, I would like to redo it and show the drops. I can come early.
7.
You want me to come that early?
I'll be here that early.
You will?
Oh yeah.
Is that the better time to film and do the stuff we're doing?
Yeah, nobody will be here. I'll be by myself.
All right, I'll come back tomorrow. I'm going to shut all this down. I'll see you tomorrow.